Hello, hello. It is day 95 of 365 days of my raw suspending disbelief journey. It is July 26th, 2024. And today I was really noticing a theme, um, sort of with everything. And it was like multiple cards that I pulled, messages that Kelly was getting, and also things outside of those completely. So the theme was one of death and rebirth. And it makes so much sense with all of the things that have been coming up lately. A lot of people, they hear death and it's like a scary thing and whatever. And even in tarot or in, any of those circles, it's, people say death and they get freaked out by it. But really, death and rebirth is like a new beginning, is the old crappy ways of being or the ways that don't serve us, that are not in our best interests, falling away so that we can be reborn into something better. So death and rebirth as the theme for the day sounds a little freaky, but at the same time, it is really empowering. It is powerful. I even noticed, with the fires that have been going on, fire is a new beginning. Fire burns away the old and dead and dry and stale and all of that, and leaves room for fresh growth. And as devastating as it is, especially for those who lose homes, lose businesses, all of that, and I am not in any way trying to make light of that. And it is devastating that the national park will, it will take a long time to return to the state that it was in, as far as growth and wildlife and, all the plants and animals. So, yes, it's devastating. Yes, it's heartbreaking. All of that, just like when we lose someone when their life ends. But it really is a new beginning. It really makes way for that fresh new growth. And when it comes to fire in nature, um, that is really what it means. It means a new beginning in that area. And that is, a lot of people maybe don't want to hear that, or, aren't open to that being a good thing. But I am starting to notice that as like the tie-in to the theme of all of the other things in my life. Um, Messages that I've been getting just about freedom and breaking the chains and moving forward and rising again and all of these things. So, I mean, for the most part, it was kind of a regular day beyond those messages. It was kids and cleaning and all of that. I did do a little bit of networking, but mostly stayed offline, especially after all of the heaviness from the couple of days before. And then it was Friday movie night. So, um, with the kids, and we watched Wish, which, if you have not watched the newer Disney movie Wish, it is incredible. Um, Highly recommend. And if you know me, I love Disney, but I actually mostly have, up until more recently, have said like, oh, I love the old Disney movies. I love the music, the songs from those, all of that. But the newer ones that have been coming out are very enlightened, I want to say, compared to what they used to put out, compared to a lot of the other crap that gets put out nowadays, all of that. So, anyways, we watched Wish, highly recommend it. Um, and I was like, I was blown away again. I've watched it before. The kids hadn't seen the whole thing because I watched it by myself the first time. But um just some of the lyrics in the songs are, it's just really clear that the people who are now creating these movies are more enlightened, are more spiritual in nature, and probably are people that I would get along with is kind of how I look at it. It feels like Disney is finally getting it right in some ways. So, um, there was some really powerful lyrics that were just really standing out to me. Like we've had, and this is this. I don't want to ruin the parts of the movie or any of that for anyone who hasn't watched it. But just I wrote down a couple of quotes from the one song because it was just like, oh my gosh, this is so powerful and this is so on point. So, um, what I wrote down was, we've had generations of expectations, wondering why, wondering when. We're past dipping our toes in. We know it's do or die, it's sink or swim. And then also, what we do in this moment is defining. We can take it on if we align. And it just is like, they've really um connected more with the we're all one mentality, and the fact that we've all been, I guess maybe I should change my wording. I'm just trying to think. Like, to me it feels like a fact. Maybe it's not a fact, but it's the belief that so many people that I know hold, that we have been um being held down and held back, that we have had beliefs shoved down our throats and ways of living shoved down our throats for generations, and um you know have been feeling that feeling of being trapped, but not even knowing that there's another option. And we're hitting this point now of, we know there's something different, and so we can't stand by and ignore it anymore. We can't just live our own little solo lives and not worry about what affects other people. And um, every action and every thought process that we sit with about this, and every bit of healing that we do, and all of it is defining. As it says, what we do in this moment is defining. It is important, and it is impactful, and it has ripple effects, and it just, anyways, my mind is just blown. Like I said, I've seen it before, but every time I hear the songs again, my mind is blown by the messages that are in there. um it just is um such a testament to the fact that this is sort of a collective awakening that is happening, right? It's this, um as those of us who are actively healing and actively working on all of this heal ourselves, we heal the collective. And the the choices that we have in reality about how we want to feel and how we want to live our lives every day. And like I always say, right, choosing to feel what we want to create, we get to choose that, and then we are literally creating that into the 3D world. And it's mind-blowing. It's amazing. So all of that to say, it's time to let go of those old ways of being, right? And that's the message that I kept getting for myself too, is just it's time to stop holding on to, like I said, I felt guilty at one point. I wrote this in the post that I put on Facebook about the healing that I did, and the sending the rain and all of that, was that I had been feeling guilty, like I shouldn't turn this off. I shouldn't, you know, focus on business and things like this, because this is just so tragic and so horrible. So therefore it demands my full attention, and I should not turn it off, right? I should not look away. And that it would be like selfish of me to work on my business, when in all reality, my business is actually specifically for collective healing and for the growth and change that would actually one of the things that would come out of it as I grow enough is for climate change to be affected, to be influenced. And I don't know if it is possible to completely reverse it, but to make these big changes. And when it comes to these fires, I don't believe that they are natural disasters. I believe that they're man made in the sense that we have destroyed our climate. And, we never used to have these massive fire seasons here where it was smoky all summer and we're all coughing all summer and all of that. And now we do. And that's, I may not understand all the inner workings of climate change, and I have 0.00% interest in having a conversation about it. I just know that what I do will also ripple out to that. And so for me to drop my business to watch misery on the news is so backwards, actually, and it does not help anyone. And so it just was this reminder that what I'm doing matters, that I need to let go of, and this is the death part, right? I have to release all of those past ways of being and the past allowing the way that things seem to be in the world to affect my actions, because my actions and my inspired actions in particular are legitimately changing what the actual situation is in the world. So to look at what is, and this goes right back to that original suspending disbelief statement, like what is right now doesn't even matter, because we're suspending disbelief that we're going to get to this end result. And this is the same way beyond the 365 days of this challenge, is that I am suspending disbelief that what I do and what I'm doing, the things that I'm doing with my business, in my life, all of it are creating that big of change in the world, that I make global changes happen, that is who I am. And um what I get to do, who I'm here to be, the role that I'm here to play, whatever you want to call it. But having to let go of feeling almost for the collective, not feeling because we should feel our feelings, there's that. It's this, I cannot allow myself to be sucked into the collective dread and anxiety and worry and all of that, that I care about that situation, and I can do something like sending the healing that I sent and calling in rain and all of that. I can do things to directly contribute to it. But my best service, the best thing that I can do is to stay in my lane, is to stay on track, because my business and the things that I'm creating in this world are going to create the changes that will prevent future natural disasters like this. And again, natural in quotes, because I don't fully believe that it's natural. Um, and that's not even a political thing saying like, oh, like somebody started the fire by hand, like nothing like that. It's that just believe that our climate has shifted so much that it doesn't matter how they started. These fires are so out of control and so widespread because of climate change. So just knowing that I am helping to bring leaders into the world who are going to make the kinds of changes that will stop these kinds of summers from happening, I can't get out of my lane. I can't leave my lane. I need to focus. I need to be on track. Um, and really trust, right? Really suspend disbelief that it's my time to do this stuff, that this is what I should focus on, that yes, I should turn off that news, that yes, I should turn what might be perceived as like a cold shoulder to it and ignore it in a sense, and just don't look at it, because um beyond that healing that I can send and the empathy that I can have for the other human beings going through their struggles, especially who live there, and for the animals and wildlife that were destroyed in these kinds of fires. Like I can either let myself be completely absorbed in that and affect nothing and just be miserable, or I can stay in my lane. And it's been really eye-opening. Um and and just that line that, we know it's do or die, it's sink or swim. It's really that's what it feels like right now for me. We're in this phase of, it is time to let go of that dead and old and the old ways of being and all of that. And if we don't, it will drag us down with it. But to rise again, to be reborn, to bring in this new, whatever you want to call it, a new age, new way of being, new way of life. To do that, we have to let go. We have to let go of those things that are not in our control, that are painful, that are just not part of our path. And when we do that, then our success is inevitable. And no matter what your success looks like to you, your success is inevitable if you stay in your lane. And so I'm trying, right? I'm trying to stay in my lane as best as I can. And as an empath, as somebody who feels for people and who picks up on energies and everything. And like I said, the collective energy of this fire situation cut in on my day like a knife, and I had no idea. There was no outside information sharing that with me to bring it into me. It literally, just the collective feeling was so strong that it overtook me. And that also tells me to, work on my boundaries, work on my protections, and being more careful about maintaining those, so that collective fears and worries and anxieties don't take over my day, because my path is really important and what I'm here to do is important. And so long as I can stay on my lane, in my lane, then my success is inevitable. So yeah, that's what I got for you today, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.